Good afternoon, everyone. I think we are at the fag end of the day, and I can feel that from everyone and also from the crowd what we have. But nevertheless, we have two seasoned professionals with me. So we'll have a quick deep dive into the very interesting agenda what we have, and that's about unlocking the business value and revenue growth through IT and a CIO strategic agenda. So I think we all live in a digital economy right now, and it's not about anymore IT is an enabler. It's the business. IT is the business. It's shaping the business. And we are talking about data-driven insights, be it cybersecurity, be it AI, everything are levers. And today we'll actually see and hear from them, in terms of few areas where you guys are actually, kind of working in your organizations. So Nikhil, heads the rack ceramics, and Zaheer is with Almeria. So we have like two different, professionals coming from two different backgrounds. One from a banking, the other from more of a manufacturing. So we'll get to see that perspectives and how these levers are shaping the digital economy and what kind of value that brings into the business. So welcome on board, gentlemen, and we'll straight away dive into those questions. Zaheer, to start with, what are those key trends that are shaping the strategic IT agenda for organizations in today's digital economy?
Sure. Thanks, Jaya. Thanks, Digital Transformation Summit, for inviting us to the Digital Transformation Summit.
Yeah.
Good now?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. It's a good question, a valid question to start with, to discussion, wherein, how IT is supporting the business. As we all know, IT is no more the SLA-driven or the availability-driven function now. IT has to support the business. In fact, most of the organizations, including us, wherein the IT shares the business KPIs. Okay, so wherein the IT is involved, where the business is enhancing, business is able to deliver. Take a class example, couple of key trends which we are working on is the AI enablement into the banking world, how we can introduce the AI, though gradually, with the baby steps, but certainly we have to be there first. They're called as the AI-enabled bank. The second one, which we are looking as a trend from the IT, is the cybersecurity and digital footprints, because our digital footprint is expanding. So IT has to be involved in a way wherein we know where we are. For example, everyone is going and talking about the cloud. Okay, but in the current scenario, having only one cloud is sufficient, or having a multi-cloud or a hybrid cloud is sufficient? Where is your workload working on? What is the cost optimization from your workload? What you can give the ROI to your business in terms of the availability, in terms of the performance, in terms of the omni-channel presence. Third is what we see is how the data, IT is sitting on, or the business is sitting on humongous data. How we can churn out the data, how we can monetize on the data. So how we can have that, we have a nice data lake from which the business is driving the key reports, which is helping the business to take the decisions in terms of the mortgage, in terms of the credit risk, in terms of the personalization banking, which is coming up. With open banking, it will be more it will be more available with the multiple banks. And being a digital bank, it's helping us. So these are the three trends currently which we are driving into our organization.
Great. Thank you. I think one of the key thing or the key message what I could pick from there is monetizing. Monetizing anything what we actually implement within the organization is something which is key. And I believe, all the technologies what we are talking about, there is one underlying layer which is data. And if you're able to kind of monetize that, I think that speaks volumes about any of those implementations, what we do within the organizations. So Nikhil, my next question, you know, as we speak, we have got a lot of visibility, as I said, IT shaping the business, and there's a lot that's happening. But still, I'm sure that as CIOs, we might be facing a lot of challenges in transitioning, from a traditional cost center towards a growth enabler, or how can we show that we are not just enablers, we are actually enabling the growth for the organizations where we work along. So what kind of challenges you face, and what are your comments on that?
Okay, thanks. So first of all, thank you to Exito team for inviting me here, and thanks, Jay. There are a lot of challenges that the CIOs or IT teams face while transitioning to digital enablers. I think first of all, the issue is of mindset. First of all, IT teams themselves don't believe that they can be a value center rather than a cost center, because they have been brought up with that perception for several years. On the other hand, the mindset of the business, where they have also considered IT as just delivering projects, whether infrastructure or ERP projects, because of which a lot of shadow IT has developed in the business side, right? So they think all types of digital projects which are value generating projects, they cannot be done by IT, and they rely on either consultants or their in-house team. So we have to fight that mindset, first of all. Secondly, I think there is definitely a skill gap and bandwidth gap in the IT functions to do digital transformation, because it relies heavily on data, analytics, and new technologies like AR, VR, etc., which typically IT colleagues are not trained into, and hence it becomes a big gap for us. And thirdly, I think having the right foundation of applications, IT infrastructure, etc., most companies don't have it, because they have grown inorganically, acquired many companies, hence you inherit a lot of technical debt. So these are not integrated systems. On fragmented ERPs and CRM systems, you cannot build a digital organization. So I think these are the three primary challenges.
Great points. I think Shadow IT has been there right from those days where we all started off in IT. We have been seeing that, we have been seeing the pain of it, and the skill gap also, I believe, when we look at any technology that is coming in, now it is AI, we talk about any technology for that matter, it's always, there will be a gap in terms of, irrespective of the industry where we are working, we'll always see that. So I think those are some great points. More than this, if I may ask Nikhil, one more question to you. Beyond cost optimization and operational efficiency, how do you think IT can contribute directly to the top line or to the revenue growth?
There are many channels to do that, and IT teams world over are already doing it. For example, any customer-facing solution that you provide to sales marketing team is immediately helping in revenue growth. For example, whether it is CRM or your point of sale solutions or e-commerce solutions, they are directly helping in revenue growth. And then there are some solutions, digital solutions, that indirectly help. For example, if you build up an experience center for your customers using metaverse or AR, VR, augmented reality, etc. So for example, what IKEA have done for people to come and visualize how a house would look with multiple permutations, combinations, we will do that. We'll do the same for rack ceramics, showing various styles and bath and kitchen configurations, etc. So both directly and indirectly, companies are straight away helping. IT teams are helping. I'll give you one example. When I was working for an oil and gas company, and as you know, all oil companies are now migrating or evolving into energy companies. So we said, can we become a single window shop for all manufacturing companies to provide oil, natural gas, LPG, electricity, right? But it is easier said than done, because in the back end you have so many ERP systems running in different businesses. So to integrate them, it's a huge task. But nevertheless, there is a lot of potential for IT and digital teams to help in direct revenue growth and customer satisfaction.
I think that brings me into the next question straight. You talked about the user experience, and I believe without giving that user experience or that customer experience, none of those implementations, none of those industry will survive. So that brings me into the next question, Zaheer, to you. What do you think, in your perspective, those implementations or initiatives that can be done to foster the customer centricity, or that can improve the user experience?
It's getting a norm wherein the improving the customer experience is a by defact for any business. Okay, take a class example with us, like being a digital bank, for us, onboarding using our app is just a 4-minute journey. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That means we have improved something for the customer experience. The customer, we don't ask the repetitive questions or repetitive details from them, which is already available with the Federal Authority. We connect with them and we take the feeds from the Fed, and not asking the customers to enter their address, their birth details and everything. We just ask for the Emirates ID, or if they have the UAE pass. So these are the avenues where you can improve the customer experience. That's one of the things. The second is the personalization. With the layering in the customer base, we are coming up with the personalization and hyper personalization. That is where one thing. The second is the opening channels presence. For example, I'll give you an example, the end-to-end journey. After 4 minutes of onboarding done with using the app, if you are not from a sanctioned countries, if you are not dealing with any of the arms or gold business, and you are a normal salary person, so your KYC is everything is automated and your KYC is done there and there. So for you to do the transaction, can you use the app? Yes, you can use the app there and there within the same minutes or same hour. If you need a debit card, you can go and visit our the multifunction kiosk machines, which is posted across the UAE. You can get your card printed there and there in front of you. Okay, so that is where the customer experience comes.
So it's more of a hyper-personalized...
Hyper-personalization things if suppose if you are doing any contracts and you are giving the check, definitely the checks is still in a rotation here while doing any Tawtik or Ujari. So anyway, going and depositing the check and getting it clearance and everything, it takes time. Go fill up the slip in the bank and what. With us, it's just you can take the picture of the check, upload it to the app, and we'll process it for you.
Great. I think, the digital banking itself has evolved a lot, when you compare to those traditional and conservative banking experience, and hyper-personalization and, the customer experience plays a huge role, so thanks for that, valid point. Nikhil, can you share more of a specific example where IT has directly enabled a new revenue stream or improved, market competitiveness in any of your, industries where you have worked with?
There are several examples. One of them was the energy sector that I mentioned just now. And in my previous organization, which was a conglomerate in building materials, now they manufacture steel, cement, and paints. So what we did was we realized that these are common commodities which are used by construction companies. So we created an e-marketplace which was totally IT team's effort. IT and digital team's effort, because otherwise it would not have been possible for them to reach out to that SME segment which has hundreds of thousands of customers, right? So everything from customers to place their orders or to check the order status or for any queries on their credit limits, payments, etc. Even we had an auctioning engine there. So this initiative straight away within the first year gave a revenue of about 25 million USD, and then it kept growing at a very fast rate, double-digit growth. So this is definitely a straightforward example where we brought everything onto one e-commerce platform, and it would not have been done otherwise by the business without the help of IT and digital team. And you would also notice that in such situations, business really appreciates what the IT and digital team have done. So this is changing the perception that IT is only a cost center. Such examples are actually helping in building credibility in.
Great. So Sahir, again, connecting back into that same user experience and customer experience, similarly, is there any situation where you have seen, that initiatives have been failed and, any of those initiatives have been challenged within the organization? And how did that, help you to identify and then shape the future strategies?
Yeah, true. We are the greenfield bank. Like we started and born in a cloud. So initial the friction what we have seen is to set the business and the IT priorities. Okay, so wherein the IT is busy setting up the cloud and infrastructure and everything, and whereas the business wanted to go live at the application. So having seeing the commonality between them, like how both of them can coexist, where the priorities can be set for the business as well as for the IT are the same, and which doesn't hold off. Like so definitely the answer to it is to be more agile, to make the instead of doing the wrapping the complete and doing furnishing and everything, do the deployment first and do the fix forward way, be there first. That model we have achieved. The second is following the proper chain management process that help us in the long run, like proper the CR process. It was raised, getting the okay from the product management team, from the IT, and thereafter the CEO. Like definitely he himself, the CEO, was involved in every decision making of the bank. So initially that helps a lot for us to go and make the products live, because if you see the daily churn out for us for the customer base is almost 700 to 800 customers per day.
Okay, so I think you learn from every such situations and then you improvise on that use case. So that actually helps you to kind of focus towards improving the customer experience when you are actually figuring out next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Great point. So Nikhil, one another last point, in terms of being, into the industry for quite some time, for organizations that begins with the digital maturity journey or who are beginning with that digital maturity journey, what suggestions you have in terms of foundational IT capabilities that should be prioritized, for value generation?
It's a very good question. That without that foundation, digital will never succeed. And digital actually rests on the foundation of IT and operations technology, especially for manufacturing and energy and natural resources companies. From applications point of view, it's very important to standardize your applications, ERP systems, CRM systems, etc., and integrate them very well. If we don't have that foundation, digital will fail because you will not get the right data. And as we all know, it has been spoken so many times that data credibility and sanctity is very important. That foundation. Secondly, preparing the right infrastructure. For example, we had a lot of mines, coal mines and iron ore mines in very remote areas. If you don't have infrastructure there, people would say, we can't even run our basic SAP system. Why? How do you expect us to do digital fleet management? So providing the right infrastructure in those remote locations, construction sites, etc., is very important. That's another part of foundation. And thirdly, and very importantly, having the right skill sets in the organization. So upskilling your team is very important. So for example, if you imagine 3 concentric circles, innermost is your IT and digital team who need to have in-depth training on new technologies, digital technologies. Then the second concentric circle would be your digital champions in various departments. If they are not empowered and trained, then digital initiatives will not succeed. And third concentric circle, the outermost circle, is all employees, because unless we bring basic awareness among those employees on digital technologies, metaverse, IoT, data and analytics, etc., it will not succeed. So it was to summarize, basically applications foundation, infrastructure foundation, and third is the skills foundation.
Brilliant. You summarized it really well. Thank you for that. And that brings me to the end of this session. I have one last closing question to both of you. In your view, Nikhil, what is that one single most important success factor for IT to become a business partner and also equally a revenue generator or revenue enabler, I would say?
Yeah, we need to, every IT person, whether CIO, CDO, or anyone in the team, needs to think like a business person. So be a business person playing an IT role rather than other way around. And if we have that, understand what are the industry dynamics, how is the industry changing, what are our sales and marketing people requiring, I think that will help us. If we put ourselves into their shoes, it will help us a lot.
Brilliant. So,
Yeah, be it a CTO, CIO, CISO, or any C-level, they have to be a business acumen going forward. That's one thing, because the board, they will not understand your technical jargons if you go and start talking about the workloads, if you start talking about the performance over there. Like what they understand is the dollar value. So every risk has to be associated with the dollar value. That's what one thing. The second is the personalization. Going forward, the banking industry, like whoever give the personalized touch to the end users or to the customers, will definitely in a top lead.
great. So that brings me to the close of the session. I think, we had some fantastic inputs, especially, in the closing question, as you rightly said, the business acumen and being one among the business stakeholder, speaking the business language, that goes a long way. And specifically in terms of those, those specific areas like hyper-personalization, focusing the customer on the customer centricity, finding and placing the customer in front of everything, whatever the kind of projects what you do, monetizing those, data layer is something irrespective of whatever implementations what you do within the organization. I think this all summarizes the discussion really well, and obviously, the unlocking the value for a CIO will naturally come into the place. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful discussion. I think we have like 3 minutes left, so if I would be happy to take any questions. Hey, hi. There's one.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Walid Sahar from Ras Al Khaimah Economic Development Authority. A question for Zaheer. We noticed through our analytics the success rate of opening bank accounts through digital banking is much higher than traditional banking. So how you are enabling this, considering that central bank regulation around banking is the same?
Can you repeat your first line?
Yes. We noticed through our analytics that the success rate of opening a bank account through digital banking is much higher than success rate of opening bank accounts through traditional banking.
Right.
How you are achieving this, considering that central bank regulation is the same for digital and traditional banking?
Yeah, true. It completely depends for the STP. Like what we have is the straight-through process. As soon as you are on board using the mobile app to yourself, like the systems are talking to each other. But with the conventional banking, what we have seen, the system don't talk to each other. They need to take some data. There is the operations team sitting and inputting the data. Like take a class example. Like we have some use cases wherein some traditional banks or the conventional bank, they may have the retail banking roughly 200 to 300 resources doing the operational activity, wherein if you go and see for the digital banking, the same activity with the same workload, they are just doing with 20 to 25 odd resources. What is the reason for it? It's all for the STP, straight-through process. Their systems are talking to each other. Systems are handshaking with each other. Whatever the reports we need, whatever the compliance we need or risk assessment we need, which we can submit to the regulators, we are on the spot. We are able to submit it on the time, whatever they need. And definitely, if you see the conventional banking, the regulators they know like the banks are going digital. They are customizing their requirement for the digital bank and for the conventional bank separately. So for us, as we are the specialized bank, if you see the Almere Community Bank, it's tagged as a specialized community bank. So for us, we have some rules. We abide from them. environment. We make sure the regulators are in a loop for whatever the activity we do. We ensure like first we have a tick in the box for the regulatory requirement than for the businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think
So the key mantra over there is the STP, straight through process.
Thank you, Zaheer, and thank you for that. I think that brings us to the close of the session. We are completed our time as well, so we'll be around, and if you have any questions, you can take it offline with the panelist. Thank you once again, for listening to us at the fag end of the day. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.